Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 4th edition of the GTBank Food and Drink Festival.
I've never been to Nigeria. Tom, have you been to Nigeria?
No, never been to Nigeria. This is my first time, so thanks for having me. Absolutely loving Lagos at the minute. The vibe in here is amazing. I haven't managed to get out of the hotel too much yet, but I plan on changing that tonight. So yeah, I've got a lot of Nigerian friends from Lagos in London, and I've been trying to get them to get me over here for years, and I'm finally here. But none of them would bring me, so thanks for having me.
So I guess if we're going to talk about food blogging, the first thing would be to check, are there any food bloggers in the audience? Okay. Any people like taking photography of food? Yeah? And then I guess the other thing is there anyone here who doesn't like food bloggers? Because if there are, this is probably the time to leave. No? We're all good? Okay. So a little bit about me. I started my food blog 7 years ago. I used to live in a little village in the sleepy Cotswolds, which is the west of England. And when I moved to London, I started my food blog there, and it kind of ballooned a little bit. So I got involved with the crowd, got involved with the community there, and then as it grew, so did opportunities to come abroad, because people really wanted British press to come to their country. So it kind of transitioned from food into travel, and then I left London after 5 years of being in London, and my girlfriend and I moved to Sydney. So I've flown in from Sydney. It's probably why I look a little jet lagged. Tom's come from London, so only had a 6-hour flight. I had 27 hours. So I think I'm running at about midnight time now. But no, it's good to be here. So a couple of things that really helped me on my way is when I started in London, I was lucky enough to be featured in the London Evening Standard's top 20 London blogs. And, thank you very much. And with that came a lot of opportunities. And then through that, I was able to work with some of these other clients, so people like Suitcase, Supper Magazine, and through my evolution of writing into photography and videography, I now work with CNN Travels to make kind of minute-long travel films whenever I go abroad. So, yes, it's been a long route, but I never thought I'd be in Nigeria. So it's amazing to finally be in Africa. I've wanted to come here for a long time. So if we go back one picture, can we go back one? Back one? Oh no, don't worry, we'll go forward to that. Yeah, here we go. So this is the very first picture and from the very first blog that I ever wrote. This is in Gloucestershire when food blogs were just starting. I'd heard about them in London, and I said to my friend, you know what, let's start a food blog. We both love food, we're both tired of the nightlife here, nothing really happens. Yeah. So our first food blog was actually reviewing a load of artisan produce. This one's some artisan jams. As you can see, a lot younger, a little bit slimmer. So that's your first warning if you want to be a successful food blogger. You're going to add some inches to your waistline.
It's not essential.
And then, if we go to the next one.
This is just for like bacon cheeseburger.
And one more.
So the jam will talk for itself.
So this is this is Tom here. So I'll get Tom to introduce himself afterwards, but here's a little look at what Tom does.
Okay, Okay, yeah. So this is me on the big stage. This is actually one of the more crazy burgers we do, the 5-stack. I'll let the music play and then I'll tell you a little bit about Burger Bear.
So yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I personally have never managed to eat one of those, but there's a lot of people who do like to eat those good big burgers. Basically, Burger Bear, we started on the street 7 years ago in London, just cooking on the street out of a gazebo, a lot like outside. We started with pretty much no money, but our focus was on the quality ingredients. Like we weren't really thinking too big at the time. We were just doing street food markets and trying to source all the ingredients from as close as possible to where we were, using small breed farmers. We were even milling flour like grown in the M25 in London. So the whole USP originally was the best locally sourced ingredients. That was 7 years ago. Now we've managed to grow into 5 restaurants in London. And that was effectively with the help of people like Chris and people spreading the word about us. Like, we used to use Twitter to tell people where we were, and we could literally just push a button on Twitter, say, we're going to be on this street corner tomorrow at 12 o'clock, and 300 people would turn up. And that's because of people like Chris taking pictures of us and taking videos of us and spreading the word via food blogging. So after the first year, I think we were going, a lot of our street food customers were saying, why can't you be open on a Wednesday? Why can't you be open on a Monday? We want to eat your food all the time. And then one guy came over and was like, why don't you do a crowdfunder? Like, I'd give you £500 or £1,000 towards a crowdfunder to open a new restaurant. That was called Kickstarter. I don't know whether you guys have heard of crowdfunding in Nigeria, but I know GTBank are doing some amazing microfunding on those kind of things. But yeah, we did a crowdfunding exercise. We raised £40,000 in 30 days. And that's primarily down to the video content, the video and film content we used in that marketing campaign. And yeah, 40 grand in 30 days to open our first restaurant. And then it just kind of spiraled from there. So yeah.
Yeah. So if we hit the next one. So this on the left-hand side is where I was born. As you can see, it's very different to Lagos. And it's actually a population of 450 people. So I think my dad helped me with this calculation. He said it's 40,000 times smaller than Lagos. So as you can imagine, young guy, just finished university, wants to get to the bright lights of the city. I moved from Sandhurst to London, took the blog with me, and was lucky enough to just get into a great community of people in London. Food blogging and kind of photography is huge there. The restaurant scene is insane. And yeah, it began to build really well. So the way I met Tom, though, so if I started my blog 7 years ago, I met Tom 5 years ago. I was actually shooting a video for a brand that was about food in East London. And I knew of Tom. I'd never actually met him, but I asked him, I said, I'm going to be making this video. It'll be beneficial for you. It's for a big brand. And it'll be beneficial for me if I can work with you, because I know your product's great, and come and shoot in your restaurant. I couldn't find the video. I'm going to be honest, it wasn't one of my best ones, so that's probably not a bad thing. But I do have the original picture. If we skip to the next one.
Should be fine.
So this is the original picture 5 years ago of when Tom and I met. He made me a triple threat and gave me the challenge of putting that away. I did manage.
I'm just going to interject here as well. This picture is still the main picture for our Google, for our main brand. And it's still the picture that gets the most comments and hits with people coming to the restaurant and commenting about it. So it still remains to be like the #1 kind of image of our original restaurant, Stokey Bears.
Yeah, so Tom's actually going to be cooking a few of those today. We were lucky enough to meet Chef Eros yesterday, who I've seen around. I don't know if he's in the crowd. Oh, there he
Chef
is.
Eros,
Chef Eros.
absolute legend, Chef
Yeah.
Eros.
So we were in his restaurant yesterday, Ile Eros, and we got to test out some of Tom's burgers there. And the guys from Red Chronicles, they just smashed everything with the ingredients, and the
Chef
burger worked
Stone
out
from
really
the Red
well.
Dish Chronicles, absolute legend, Chef Eros. It's been such an amazing experience so far, man. And these two guys smashed it. So
Tom's going to have a few of these. How many?
there's not enough for all of you, unfortunately. So you're going to have to get to the front row when I say go.
Yeah,
I think
big stampede.
there's about 35
I'll
burgers.
get out of the way.
35 burgers. We're going to try and cut them into 4. So yeah, there should be enough to go around. Mainly, actually no, I'll save that bit. Actually, we'll carry on.
Well, why don't you tell them basically about your burger and what the kind of idea was behind it?
So for me, like, I love burgers. I mean, who loves burgers here? Yeah? I've wanted to do something with burgers for years. I've worked in hospitality since I was 10 at my aunt's restaurant, just washing dishes, scaling fish, learning the trade, basically. And then I kind of moved away from restaurants in the kitchen and went more in hospitality, cocktails, running the bars, doing parties, doing nightclub events, and then kind of bigger hospitality events like Royal Ascot and whatnot. But then I traveled the world a little bit, came back to England, and I wanted a change, and I got a really, really awful job, actually, with some friends, just working in an office just because I wanted a break from hospitality. And then it was my wife, she called me one day, I'm pregnant. There's a baby coming. It's like, oh my God, I need to sort my life out, you know, start taking control. So I was literally sitting in the back of this office with an iPad, just daydreaming about how I could do something for myself and how that could be food. And I tried an amazing burger on the street. They ended up going from the street to a restaurant, so there was a space on the street for another burger. And I literally just sat there and I just scribbled Burger Bear, and that was this. And that's basically how it started. And my wife was amazing. She supported me in everything because it's, I'm just going to quit my job now you're pregnant. So yeah, that's how Burger Bear was born. And like I said, it's all about the quality and sustainability of the ingredients. Like the farms we use are within 20 miles from the restaurant, and it's all small breed farmers, it's all small butchers, small bakers, everything apart from the Heinz ketchup, we pretty much and the lettuce and onions, which do come locally. We do everything as sustainable and organic as possible.
And tell them about your USP.
Yeah, so the USP, the burger is good. Our beef is 60-day dry-aged chuck, shin, and short rib, with a 27.5% fat. So the beef is where it's at, but everybody can get good beef. And when I kind of came up with this, there was a burger joint in London doing candied bacon, which is a maple syrup bacon. There was others doing relish. There was nobody doing bacon jam. And bacon jam is basically, that's the reason why I'm here, I would say. It's the reason why we've managed to fund the Kickstarter, open restaurants, and still continue to be one of the best burgers in London, if not the UK, and definitely Nigeria today. So, so yeah, bacon jam, that's our USP. It's a condiment that we stick on the burger, and it's the perfect balance of sweet alcohol, coffee, maple syrup, sugar, and bacon. You guys are going to get to, well, you lucky guys are going to get to try some.
Got it on the screen for you.
That's the signature burger. That's the Grizzly Bear. It's double oak smoked bacon and then bacon jam. The bacon we smoke ourselves. The beef, like I said, is 60-day dry aged. And you're in for a treat today because I wasn't sure Chef Stone and Red Dish would be able to source all the ingredients I needed. But when I arrived at Chef Eros's place yesterday, I saw the beef, and normally it's a real deep red color, and this is super, super light. I was really worried, but they managed to. Unfortunately, it's not local Nigerian beef, but I'm pretty sure you're probably glad of that as well. So this is actually Wagyu, flown in from Australia. So even I was excited when I got to try it. So yeah, you guys are in for a treat.
So when it comes to bacon jam, this is the thing that just got me addicted to Tom's Burgers. And the first kind of big adventure we had together, he was opening a place called Magic Roundabout, which is this huge setup in the middle of Shoreditch. Tom, do you want to tell them about Magic Roundabout?
Okay, so Magic Roundabout. So we did the Kickstarter, which raised the 40 grand to open the first restaurant, and effectively it was going to be a shipping container, a double-stack shipping container restaurant in a car park in East London. And the week we got the money, the car park got closed down, so that we got refused planning. So I had 40 grand and nowhere to spend it. And in East London, land is really, really hard to come by, especially for free, because we were supposed to get the land for free based on the Kickstarter. Then the Magic Roundabout is actually, it's a roundabout, funnily enough. It's on top of a tube station in the middle of a roundabout in the most kind of, I guess, in the most fashionable place in London, which is Shoreditch. And it was literally dead land. And one night, it's actually a funny story, I'd been out drinking cocktails, and I really needed to go to the toilet. It sounds awful, but I ran onto the Magic Roundabout trying to find an entrance to the tube station so I could go to the loo. And what I found was a massive, empty, unused space in the middle of the busiest roundabout in London, on top of a tube station. And the next day, I Googled the name of the commercial developer at the tube station, emailed him and just said, "What are you doing with this space? I've got this idea." And he just said, "Come and meet me tomorrow at 9 a.m., bring me your ideas." And that was it. It's a 500 capacity, open air, music and food venue. And yeah, that's the beginning of that story, basically.
So this is just a video of Tom going from Stokey Bears. He flew a drone with a burger attached from his restaurant.
If you just line these up, pull it down.
Hard, night and day, these hard times won't go away. Bitter times, what can I say, are here to stay. I'm taking care of basic needs. I got a king size, not the beat, and there's nothing left for me. I work for a living. I have big fun whenever I can. Don't you understand? I work for a living. I have a real good time with friends of mine.
Yeah, so as far as I'm aware, that's the only burger on a drone flown in the UK, maybe Europe. I don't know. It was at the time anyway.
Yeah, probably get in trouble from London if they see that. Or if we go back one. So essentially, how it comes to the next adventure was I used to do some work for Pepsi, and it was kind of 50 writers, bloggers, photographers from all over the world, and they used to send us kind of jobs to do where we would report on different cultural events in our cities.
Do you know how many they have?
So Magic Roundabout turned up, and it went wild in East London. So I wrote about it, and they invited 5 different people to come from the Select 50 to come and present these ideas to the Pepsi team in New York City. And just like today, I thought, yeah, it's great talking about it, but you need to be able to try it. So Tom, do you want to come to New York City with me? Obviously, Tom jumped at the chance. And with that, we landed in New York City. Tom rented an American food truck for the day, and then cooked his burgers on the street outside the Pepsi offices for the entire team. And they all lost their minds over bacon jam. They didn't have bacon jam over there. So here's a little video from here for you.
Up to me, every day would be Saturday. People party through the week. They be laughing, they be I don't think I can make it much longer. Every day, just like some motor, all I do is work. I'm no robot. I just have to party, ooh, and please my body. Let's go disco.
Don't worry.
Meet the guys and gals, they're all my pals.
So yeah, that was New York. So I guess what we're going to do now, we're going to double threat it. I'm going to take you through my 4 best ingredients for a successful blog, and then Tom's going to come at me with his 4 best ingredients for his burgers.
Yeah, I guess it would be good to say as well, like showing you the videos, what's the actual point of showing you this video? Just me having a great time in New York? The point is, this was, what, 3 years ago? And 4 years ago, and still when I'm talking to people about Burger Bear, they bring this up, they're like, oh my God, I saw you in New York, that was amazing. And I was like, that's 4 years ago, it's not even current. But the fact that we did that, I mean, one, it was a lifetime achievement for me, and it was blogging that got me there. We got a double-page spread in Pepsi Worldwide magazine, thanks to his photography and his work. And then I got to fulfill a dream using, again, the ingredients in America are amazing. The bacon was literally ludicrous. And the meat, again, it was Pat LaFrida. I managed to speak to one of the best guys in the UK, to speak to the best guy in New York, and it hadn't arrived. This is an anecdotal story. It hadn't arrived, and there was a bang on the truck, middle of downtown New York, no address, bang on the truck. And I was like, who's that? He's like, hey, you Burger Bear? I'm like, yeah. He's like, here's your meat. And he just drove off. It was absolutely amazing. But still, people talk about this video and the Pepsi kind of center spread. So as far as blogging goes, it's such an essential part of growth in the food industry, as far as how it's gone for me. So yeah, that's the power of video and photography content in your business.
Yeah, so if we hit the next one. So right, let's get into it. So I'd say for you, your niche would be your bacon jam.
Yeah, the niche is the bacon jam, definitely. I think Burger Bear in general, it's we do things quite different. We haven't got massive corporate investment. We've got nobody really to answer to, so we can have as much fun as possible in the business. Plus, because the product is so good, we also get to have a lot of fun with the customers. Like, I'm not in hospitality for the money. I'm in it for the glory. You know, I want you guys to be walking away with having tasted the best burger, and not only having tasted the best burger, but also walking away with a big, warm, fuzzy feeling from Burger Bear. It's all about the experience. Like, I don't really have customers. I have, supporters. I have extended family. When I see people bringing their kids or bringing their families, that's the buzz of Burger Bear. And our niche is the bacon jam for sure.
Yeah.
So.
And then I guess for me, an important niche for me when I started my blog was 7 years ago. All the food blogs that I was reading, they were just reams and reams of words. And there's an in-joke in my family that I've only read 7 books in my lifetime, and the titles all begin with Harry Potter. So I'm not the biggest reader. I'm very heavily motivated by visuals. So I said to myself, you know what? My niche is going to be photography. I want people to come to my blog and literally see every inch of the restaurant, every dish, and make up their own mind about whether they want to go there. Because for me, going to a restaurant, it's not just about how someone else experienced it. I know I've got a taste for the interiors, the presentation, and all these things affect me when I go into the restaurant. So I want to be able to see all those pictures.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that's fine. Just literally
when I go in,
it should be fine. And then just lay the.
Another niche was also getting the exclusive. So where I lived, Cheltenham, they were the first city outside of London to get a Whole Foods. Does anyone know Whole Foods here? Yeah. So Whole Foods was a big deal in sleepy Gloucestershire. Everyone went crazy, and I knew that I had to get the exclusive for this. So the day it opened, I bombed it through the crowds, got to the front with my camera, and was just taking a picture of every single display. Put it up on my blog within an hour, and for like the first year was easily the best performing post. It just went through the roof. Everyone in the community was sharing it, and just like coming to my website to find every image that they could. So that's number one. Number two would be community. So, Tom, community for you, what does that look like?
Community, yeah, I mean, basically, the general ethos at Burger Bear is love is the message, you know? It's all about love. Like, the love that goes into the beef that's grown for us, and then the passion that goes into the quality of that, the love that goes into the baking of our products, the love that goes into the pigs, the smoking of it, everything. And my religion, I would say, is just, it's love. Love is the message. And you know, business grows with love. It grows a little bit slower. It's a little bit more difficult because when I have had business partners in the past with Magic Roundabout, trying to explain, they're like, come on, Tom, just do your magic. You know, whenever we have a quiet week, they're like, just do your thing, you know? It's not as easy as just doing that. For me, it's building the community, and I've basically done that via love. And the love of hospitality, the love and passion that goes into the products. And then we also use music a lot. We're very much a music and food brand. So there's always great music pumping at the restaurant, and we kind of use that to break down everyone's I can't think of the word. But
it gets through the pretension of,
exactly.
Food can sometimes get a bit pretentious, but if you have the guy on the grill is the guy controlling the music, isn't it?
Yeah, and basically when I started, it was just a one-man show on the street, music pumping, flipping burgers. My record is 100 burgers an hour, and I need a lot of disco. I need a lot of disco to do that. So I asked if I could play music here whilst cooking the burgers, but I'm not. Technically, I don't think it's completely possible. But in my head, I'm dancing to disco. So it's.
With food blogging, community is massively important. When I got to London, I found this out straight away. So talking about getting the exclusives, I recognized that people like the London Evening Standard, people like Time Out, you know, they've built these connections. They're the big dogs in the industry, so they get the exclusives. And essentially, exclusives is why people come and see you for the most part, because they want to know what's going on before anyone else. So for me, when I got to London, I actually got there via a really boring job in advertising auditing. It sounds as bad as it was. And I luckily got into this community of people and made it my biggest effort to just go to every event that I possibly could, every opening, blog about it, take photos, and then even to the point that I was going to this boring job and I was writing my blogs at work. So I didn't last that long there. I soon got picked up by a PR company who were just starting out in social media, and they asked me to come and kind of take the lead on their social media for their clients because they were just doing traditional PR at that time. So that job worked really well. We had a lot of restaurant clients, and it kind of gave me the opportunities to network with people like Tom, who then I would collaborate with, and kind of, you know, Tom would obviously need to have people like Time Out and Evening Standard come because they have such wide reach. But, you know, he made like open the door for me an hour before they come, and I get the pictures as well, and then it goes out to my followers. They share it to their friends, then they come and visit. So it's kind of a snowball effect. And also it just means you get to meet great people that have the same passions as you. So that was a really important part for my blog. The next part would be foundation. So if we hit two forward. So Tom, for you, the foundation would probably be your bun.
Yeah, the bun, definitely.
Yeah.
The
While
bun,
you build everything off.
Yeah, the bun, I mean, obviously you need a good bun for a burger. You don't want to get wet bread.
Yeah.
But yeah, the foundation, again, the foundation really is the people.
Yeah.
The people that make Burger Bear so special, of me. But no, my staff and the community of loyal followers, really. Burger Bear wouldn't have got anywhere without one, the bacon jam, but definitely the loyal band of customers that we've grown on social media. We've got Twitter, that we've got like 20,000 followers on Twitter, and when we raised the money on Kickstarter, that £40,000, 14 grand of that came from people in other countries who I'd never met, just because the community of people who want to see good people do stuff. They just, we got 14 grand from people we'd never met in countries all over the world. So, and they just believed my story, and they bought into my story, and they bought into that because of my presence on social media, backed up by the things that Chris and other food bloggers did for me around the world. So, yeah, community would definitely be the bun and the base for the burger, but mainly the support that we kind of gathered off of the social media presence.
Yeah, and then I guess foundation for me, as I said, was just, making sure you capitalize on the word that's very popular at the moment, which is FOMO, so fear of missing out. So that was a big kind of mission for me, was just to make sure that the foundation of my blogs, the foundation of my photography was getting not just the new places that opens, but also working with restaurants that are bringing out new menus. Things are very seasonal these days, so it's always exciting to see new menus. Working in the cocktail industry when new bars open, and again, collaborating with people. That's a great opportunity to cross networks, so their followers will see you working with you, and then your followers will see you working with them. And again, it kind of creates even more buzz, because it's like, oh, these two people, like, what are they doing? They must be making something pretty cool if they're both coming together to do it. So it's using that foundation to kind of create this shareable content, which will drive your exposure in the long run and longevity as well. And then my final one, for me, would be responsibility. So, Tom, I guess with you, it's responsibility in food, how you look after like the welfare of animals.
Yeah, I mean,
ensuring food waste.
Food waste is a big one. We work with a couple of different projects in London and in Bristol, so that nothing ever goes to waste. We work with a lot of homeless charities as well. But yeah, that's kind of, food waste is still it's a little bit tricky, because there's only so much of our product that we can pass on. But there's some really great charities out there who come and grab the leftovers, then they make food out of it, and then deliver it to homeless charities. So that's a big one. The welfare and kind of sustainability of the farmers is obviously a big one. We have less to do. We just make sure that's in sight.
Yeah.
Obviously, the farmers we work with are, they love their animals. They love their product. The bakers, they love everything they're doing. They also source, where possible, all of the flour within a close distance as well. So yeah, basically the farmers are the ones looking after the animals. But everything at Burger Bear is as sustainable as it can possibly get.
Yeah, and then I guess when you're looking at a food blog, one for me when it comes to responsibility is using your platform for positivity, for good. You've probably seen it before, I definitely have.
Okay, let's switch these.
But negative blogging, or, you've had a bad experience and you suddenly reach for Twitter to kind of quickly put the restaurant down or complain about a chef. I always say that I don't want to do that. There's no point me investing time into editing photography, editing videos, writing blogs, when I'm essentially just going to pass it on to people and they're going to read it and be like, okay, so we're not going there then. It wastes my time, it wastes their time. And if you want to be successful, it's partnerships and relationships with chefs, with restaurants, with PR companies. Those are the things that you need to nurture. But what I'm not saying is, don't write fake blogs. That is obviously a massive no-no. What I tend to do, if ever I have a bad experience, I'll speak to who's ever invited me, or the restaurant that I've gone to, and said, I'm not a food critic. I don't call myself a food critic, but I've had enough experiences in restaurants and foods to know when something's amiss, when it's been a bad experience, and I'll just politely say, this was a bit off. Is there a way that we could improve this? Because essentially, what you're doing when you do this with a chef or with a restaurant is you're essentially improving the food community for other people as well, because that dish will be better next time, the experience will be better next time. So it's just a knock-on effect. So
it's going to get so smoky.
No to like fake blogs, but obviously I just don't think negativity. There's so much negativity in the world already, so why add to that? So that's my big one at the end. But yeah, I suppose we need to get cooking now.
I think we're going to get cooking, yeah. What's the next slide? Because I've totally forgotten.
Well, I know what it is, but you're going to start cooking, and I'm going to talk about the future of food blogging. Oh, okay. All right, we'll rush through it, yeah. Okay. Well, I thought we might be struggling to fill the 60 minutes, but it looks like we're going over. Right, so the future for me. So when I started my blog, blogs were massive. And I've slowly seen a decline in readership because we're all becoming a lot more visual. Like I said, I just love photography. So things like Instagram, videos on YouTube, it's all becoming the future. So by all means, start a blog. People still read, but diversify and embrace trends. So you've got Instagram, you've got video. So if we hit the next slide. So when I go to a restaurant now, I take pictures, but then I also make videos at the same time. And this one was quite a professional shoot for a little restaurant in London called Cuisines. But then if we hit the next one.
Right guys, day 2.
So this is yesterday. This was me in Nigeria at Chef Eros's restaurant where we went to prep. And this is just Instagram stories. Doesn't have to be professional. It's probably better if it's raw.
Some meal prep,
but it's a really great way, because I know Instagram, everyone wants to keep their feed all pristine and nice, but this is a really great way of adding personality, getting behind the scenes looks, and just showing you what you get up to. So this is me in the kitchen with the Red Dish Chronicles guys. This is Tom coming in with a sneaky cocktail that someone had made him.
Stephen, he's been killing it in the kitchen.
This is Stephen. Stephen's on the grill. This was Stephen yesterday.
Bacon jam's almost there. Are we looking, Tom?
Yeah, amazing.
So yeah, video for me is the future, and that's what I've been moving towards. I still have a passion for my blog and for writing, but I'm just embracing the new trends and ensure that I stay current.
I think.
And it is made from hibiscus, dates, and a little bit of tequila and contra. Delicious.
So there we have it. So if we hit the next slide, let's eat. So Tom, take us through what you're doing, and then I guess we'll have some Q&As, Agnes.
Yeah, you can do the Q&A, I think, and then I'll do it after I've finished cooking. So burgers aren't rocket science, okay? So I'm not going to try and blow your mind with how to cook a burger. The key really is in the ingredients. Like our meat is just, it's the best you can get in London for sure, as far as burgers are concerned. And we're really lucky we can get having Wagyu today. So basically just cooking it for 7 minutes, 3 minutes on one side, 3 minutes on the other, and they're little in between depending on how fat they are, getting a ridiculous caramelization. You can look on that there so you can see. That's what you're looking for. It's I forget what's the effect when it caramelizes. What's that called? The Maillard, the Maillard reaction. Basically,
professional in the audience.
I totally forgot. I was like, all these people staring at me. The Maillard reaction is basically when you're cooking meat and you get that kind of chemical reaction and you get that amazing crust. Like that's literally one of the best things ever. Like, so cooking the burger down, ketchup and mustard on a really well-made bun, lettuce and onion. It's literally the classic all-American flavors, really, without American mustard, and it tastes like a bit of Americana, but with high-grade ingredients.
All right, should we do Q&A? Sorry, I could listen to Tom talk about burgers non-stop.
Jam.
Hello. Okay, awesome. Oh, those burgers smell really good. I don't know if you guys can smell it.
This is the bacon jam, by the way.
Okay, so while we're doing some cooking of burgers, it'd be good to get some questions.
Check
So
the cheese.
if anybody has questions, just raise your hand up and then we'll get the mic over to you. Okay, we've got one person at the front here.
Drop it on top, yeah. 2 pieces, yeah?
This gentleman here.
All right.
Good afternoon. My question
Not
is,
yet, not yet on
You
that.
can stand up.
Not yet,
please.
not yet.
my question is this. During your crowdfunding raising fund, how did you get it done without coming to physical presence? And again, what exactly did you promise the crowdfunding people, as in people that actually did the funding for you? What did you promise them for them to drop the card? And the second question I have here is this. On the issue of
Give me the bundles.
pitching, while we are pitching to Pepsi, you never show any of their products.
Oh, Pepsi?
Yes.
Why didn't I show their photos?
You didn't share your photos, you didn't put any of their products in your shooting.
Yeah, perfect.
So how did you get them
on this one.
convinced without their products in your video? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So the first question was about crowdfunding.
Yeah.
So how you went about that without
one.
physically meeting the people.
That'll
And
be
the
for
second
Tom.
question was about Pepsi. Sorry, go ahead.
So Tom, how
Three
did you
more.
go about crowdfunding?
How did I go about crowdfunding? So Kickstarter is an amazing website. That's probably one of the original crowdfunding websites. They make it super simple. It's free, and you can basically just go on, put your idea online. It gives you a really simple template. You put your idea on, you then make a video, and then you select rewards. So somebody can give you £10 for like a sticker or a hug, or they'll give you £100 for an opportunity to come into the restaurant and make burgers with you, or they give you £1,000 for burgers for life and a burger party for your family. So it's a really simple process actually. You can find multiple websites online to figure it out.
Okay, and then Pepsi was why I didn't use the pictures here. So it was kind of an internal job with Pepsi. It wasn't public. It was basically 50 writers, photographers from all countries around the world, and we would talk about cultural events. They would kind of set us almost like homework. They would say, this is a new drink that we're working on, but we're trying to work around the ethos, the idea behind it. We want to know what inspires people in your cities. So they would then use it for their advertising inspiration. So I wrote this piece for the Pepsi team, and then that was presented in-house to them. And off the back of it, Tom came to New York with me, which is why we made the video with Tom, just to kind of advertise us going to New York. But the Pepsi thing was actually internal.
Okay, awesome. Let's just move on because we are running out of time. So we've got a lady at the front here who has a question.
Hi, my name is Ife. I run a blog called High Table Africa.
Yep.
And we're basically trying to take on food, drink, and travel and art all around Africa.
Don't make it cold.
So my biggest question will be, incidentally, I went to University of Bristol, so big up to Burger Bear Bristol, wherever that is. One of the things I want to get more of a wordsmith, and I'm not really good with visual.
Yep.
So in terms of where you get your inspiration from, and what makes you look at a picture and look at a particular, image and think that should be, everyone needs to see that particular image, and that will basically whet everyone's appetite for particular kind of experience.
Difficult.
That's my first question.
Okay. What's the second one?
Yeah. So second one is basically how you're transitioning from food to travel. So we're actually doing a show at the moment. So we're basically doing a bit of travel as well.
Yeah.
And what's your biggest, I guess for lack of a better word, what's your biggest lesson that you've learned basically from blogging about food to going into transitioning into travel as well? Thank you.
Cool. No worries. So the first one, knowing which pictures to take is just. I'd say it's experience. When I first got Instagram, it was just going to a thing called Burger versus Burger, and it was a competition. And I thought, oh, this is great. I'll take a picture of every single burger. But then as you post more, you learn what works with your audience. and I know now in my head which shots are going to resonate most, or even with the kind of, if you see on Instagram, the accounts, like the big accounts, so like Beautiful Cuisines, people like that, you see what images work for other people, and then you try to get exposure via being shared by these pages. So it's just kind of learning what shots work for your audience, and then what shots are kind of trending on Instagram to kind of hit that algorithm and get your photo seen by more people. Question 2, though, transferring into travel from food. So that one was a difficult one for me. I was essentially all food, and now if you go to my Instagram account, it's quite heavy travel. There's 2 reasons for that. The first reason was moving to Australia. I was self-employed for 3 months before I left to Australia, and kind of my whole network just disappeared overnight when I landed in Australia. So I was having to kind of start my whole blog again in Australia, meet new people, meet new networks. But also, I was eating out too often in London, and I got quite unhealthy. So I thought, this country's amazing. I'm here to travel and see it. Let's see travel as well as food. But I think the thing is not to get bogged down in worrying that, say, a travel shot's not being as successful as a food shot, because your audience is food, but you determine where you want to go. So if you want to go into travel. You may lose a few people. I lost some followers, but now that new people are coming back. So I've now forged a new path for me, which has allowed me to work with bigger companies like CNN, Sony, Samsung, BMW. So there was definitely the first year in Australia where I was kind of questioning what I was doing. But as long as you're happy with what you're doing, that's the main thing, and that will come through with the content that you're creating.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. We've got a question from a gentleman at the back, and then we'll come to the lady at the front. Can we just do one question each, please, because we're running out of time. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Arjay Kamar.
Nice to meet you.
Please, I'm here to ask a question.
Lift the lid.
I think this burger from America is just the first time of this burger being to Nigeria. And now, please, if we should have a taste for today, is it going to be the forever taste, or we still have more in Nigeria?
What was that?
So he's basically saying that the burgers that you brought over are burgers from America or from the UK. So he's saying that if he has a taste of it today, will that be the same taste going over, right? Going on. But these burgers are just for today, so they will just taste away today. But there are burger places in Nigeria. I don't know if you know of any since you've been here.
We haven't yet, but in terms of like getting a Nigerian taste into it, so yesterday when we were making bacon jam with Chef Eros, he introduced us to, is it yaji? Yeah? Like super spicy. And we put that in the bacon jam, and literally as soon as it went in, spoon in the mouth, me and Tom just looked at each other and were like, yeah, mind blown. We got to take some of this back to London and give it to the London people. So
Okay, that's awesome.
that's definitely going to be hitting the menus in England.
That's good. Thank you. So this lady here.
Hi.
Hiya.
We're organic farmers, and we're very fortunate that we work with a lot of the chefs. Chef Eros we worked with, Chef
awesome.
Stone. But my question is a bit of a flip one, because we send a lot of samples. We grow microgreens.
Yeah.
So when we have new things, we send samples out. And I'm a little bit cautious about asking chefs to talk about what we've sent them and tag us and mention us, because I just think that's a bit intrusive.
Yeah.
I mean, for you, it's the flip side. Everybody wants you to talk about what they do. So how do we navigate that? To be fair, we do get a lot. I think Chef Christian is here, one of our biggest fans. People do mention us. But there's sometimes when you've sent something that you're piloting or trialing, is it okay to ask? And even sometimes we take pictures. You can see I've got a camera. We take these pictures, we send. You can use it if you want to. How do you navigate that? Because it helps promote our work as well.
Yeah. So I guess kind of when I worked in PR as social media, we would obviously be inviting other bloggers to the restaurants that I was PRing, and you can't. I think Tom even had this. Someone said to him, if I come and have a free burger and give you a 5-star review. Is that okay? And Tom was like, no, that's not okay. That's not how I want to work. So we just say, you know, we'd love for you to come and try this. If it's something that you feel really happy about, if you really like it, we'd love any exposure that you can give us. Yeah. But there's no requirement to this is just like a gift basically. But we would love any exposure that you could give us if you were a fan. That's how I would approach it, and just know that you're giving those samples out, but not all of them are going to come back. But if you build those relationships with the chef that you've just spoken with, the longevity will build and the relationship will build, and over time, that exposure will build too.
You can use this and then scoop the
No
whole.
Okay, guys, I'm really sorry, but I'm being told that our time is up. It's not my fault. So, how are we doing with the burgers over there, Tom?
Yeah, we're nearly ready to roll.
Awesome.
How are we going to choose?
Sorry?
How are we going to choose who's eating?
How are we going to choose who's eating? There might be like a stampede to the stage. I think, do you have any closing words for them, Chris?
Yeah, so just basically recapping on what I said. So when it comes to running a successful blog, you want to find your niche. You know, social media is very saturated, but if you have that niche that will resonate with a specific audience, it really helps. Then community, collaborate, network. Social media is all about sharing and connecting with people anyway.
Put them on the, I'll put
Foundation,
them on the last ones. I'll put them on the last ones.
find like the exclusives. Make sure that you have content that is shareable and that people are going to read and want to share with friends. And then responsibility, you know, use your platform, your power for good. Don't use it to kind of get back at someone over negative things. You essentially are a food fan and you want to increase the success of the food community around you, because that's where you live, and you want the food around you to get better as well. So that would be my 4 things for a successful food blog.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you. Round of applause, please, for the guys. That was awesome. Thank you. Okay, so the way we're going to choose the food, because I don't see any other way to do this. Those of you who had your hands up for questions, I think you should come up and try them. The ones who didn't get to
Okay,
ask,
so
we've got
some samples now to give out. So I don't know how you want to do it, but as you give this out, the rest will be finished. So.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, thank you very much for having us.
How long have you been in Lagos? How many days?
Oh, I've been in Lagos. I landed Friday. I took off Thursday, 27 hours, and landed Friday.
Okay, did you try any street food?
I went to a place, what's it called? It's like a yellow...
Damfo?
Yeah,
cool.
Went Damfo, and I had fish tacos, but with suya.
So that was what I was going to ask, because suya is like the best street food.
Yeah, I absolutely love suya. So suya was awesome, because I came here and I was like, you know, I want to try something that is typically Nigerian.
So can I give you an idea? Or maybe I should wait for Burger Bear Tom to come in. A suya burger.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
so like I said, is it yaji?
Yes,
yeah.
The pepper.
So that stuff was incredible yesterday when we put it in the bacon jam.
Oh, nice.
So I think Tom's going to get a big sack of that to take home.
That's going to be so great.
Yeah.
So I was making fun. Like, I've been trying to get one of those. As soon as the burgers hit the stage, I was like, ooh, they're going to make them. They're going to hand them out. I was like, you can't come onto the stage without a burger, so please tell your partner. Otherwise, I'm not doing any interviews today. No interviews without a free burger.
Yeah, so when we were in the restaurant yesterday, we just had guys lining up in the kitchen to try it, and it went down so well. So
too bad we can't like record the smell.
Oh,
you know, it's amazing.
It fills the room.
Yeah, well, thank you. I think I've taken up enough of your time.
Oh, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, and enjoy the rest of the time in Lagos. So let's talk street food. You tried any Nigerian street food?
I just had some wings actually.
Okay.
Which what was it called?
You gotta try
Wingville, and there was a lot of amazing Nigerian spices on there. But I haven't actually had a chance to get out into Lagos. But I guess there's a lot of street food to try here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to be here all day and night eating.
I'm going to recommend the suya to you.
Yeah, cool. I saw those guys. Yeah.
And boli. It's roasted plantains.
Okay, yeah. I think I saw some people doing that outside.
Man.
Yeah. Next year, I want to do a store here.
Ooh.
Next year, I want to do Burger Bear outside.
Nice.
A proper experience.
Please do.
With some African ingredients as well. Like we tried the, is it the Zobo?
Zobo?
Zobo. The Zobo jam yesterday at Chef
wow.
Eros's place. and it worked amazingly. We were going to try and make some Zobo bacon jam, but we didn't quite have time.
Okay.
So yeah, next time.
So I was telling Chris about an idea for suya burger.
Yeah, definitely. We tried some of the spice yesterday.
Yeah, he said
and it was,
so.
It's a flavor I've never experienced before.
Okay.
I think it would make an amazing. We don't do a lamb burger actually. We could do a really good lamb burger with some suya spice and wings. It would be really good on wings as well.
Yeah, I'm sure. So are you gonna come back to Lagos?
Yeah, I've been trying to get here for years, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my stepdad comes here quite a bit for some work.
Okay.
And then I've got a lot of Nigerian friends in London,
Oh,
in Peckham,
yes.
keeping it south of the river. And this South Nigeria, South London, definitely here
They
I am
rep hard.
representing.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for spending some
Thank
time
you.
with us. And hopefully some of those burgers remain as, man,
Yeah, definitely.
man, the smell in here,
I know,
amazing.
it's literally a fog of
Yeah,
burger bar at the moment.
yeah.